Let me see if this works. No, it isn't Jesus. It's just me. So the book's out. It came out. It is released. That was like yesterday, sort of. I was giving a bit of time just to sort of, appear, because it should be going up on a great many platforms, Amazon included. So if you're in America, it's a good day for you, because the distribution sort of comes from there. So you should be able to order it on Amazon and, get it real quick. Anyone in the EU, you can order it. The site is still finishing setting up. Like yesterday on Amazon, and it only seems to be Amazon, they had 2 different pages for the paperback and the hardback, and then today they merged. So you will be able to order one. It is on Barnes & Noble as well. It will be on Waterstones. It is on Apple Book. It is on Kindle. Now, some of the prices in Europe are a bit weird. I don't exactly know why some of them are so high. I have been told that they will come down at some point. Usually, and again, it's Amazon. Usually what they do is when things start actually getting purchased, they reduce the price, including their profit margin, to sell more in bulk. In the meantime, you will be able to get the ebook, which is much cheaper, which I would recommend if you don't want to be splashing out. It's the same book. All the illustrations are there. You can click on them, zoom in, whatever, and then get the book when you're ready. I am waiting for my copies, the paperback and the hardback, to arrive in the mail. But I did say I would release the book this week, and I fucking meant it. So here we are. The book is out. I didn't want to wait till Friday because, the book went live. I released it on the Discord yesterday just to see how it would go. Some people have already fucking read it. It's like, Christ, it's like over 1,000 pages long. It's a big book. Some people have fucking finished it. But, yeah. The reactions have been really good. People are enjoying it. It's nice to see that I'm actually not fucking crazy and people, do get it. Because when I was writing it, I was like, this makes sense to me. I like the way this world works. Will anyone else? Thankfully, the answer is yes. A lot of people, have been blasting through it, so I'm very happy. You will see some links in the description for the US Amazon, UK Amazon, Barnes & Noble. If you're in Europe or anywhere else around the world, the best thing to do is to keep tabs on Amazon, the Amazon site for your country, and on the Amazon site itself, search Amygdala Sam Fenner. Put my name in as well. It'll come up if it's up. Failing that, just keep an eye on your local bookstores. The online bookstores. Like I said, I'm still waiting on Waterstones. It will be going up on Waterstones, and I know they're probably the best option for people in Europe and the UK. I have a local Waterstones, which I'm hoping to, actually buy a copy from. Waterstones is one of the ones that takes a little bit longer, but it will be up there. If it says temporarily out of stock, it's not out of stock. It's print on demand. You can order what that basically means is the page hasn't finished processing yet. So if you order a copy, you will get a copy. They will ship it at the earliest convenience. That will probably disappear over the next few days. You're probably going to have to give it a week to settle. But you will be able to get it, and the prices will settle too, I imagine. I've already had reports of some of them coming down in Europe. So yeah, it's out. It's been released. I do have some things to show you. I may not have my physical copy to show off. I will be doing an interview with Lucy Lacemaker over the weekend. I'm working on that. If you're subscribed to my Patreon, you can expect a full breakdown video on how that was made, including how to make a CGI character appear in the real world, which is a little trick I've been doing for some time. I just use that to sort of do little tutorials and behind-the-scenes stuff. But one thing that I would recommend is if you are waiting to get a physical copy and you're dead set on that, you can read the first 2.5 chapters for free on Amazon Kindle. Barnes & Noble's a bit more brutal. They only give you the first 30 pages. But you'll be able to read a sample and you can entertain yourself with that until things go. Or just buy the ebook, you know. It's I think it was like $9, £9, something like that. So honestly, if you just want to really experience the story and enjoy the story and get into the world, then, you know, there's always that option. So you have got the paperback, you have got the hardback, you know. It's a first edition too. And first editions are, you know, they're one of a kind. They only come around, you know, once in a book's life cycle, and once they're gone, they're gone. I'm going to be keeping my eye on the book over the next few weeks, weeding out any lingering typos, anything like that, any artifacts, any anomalies. We haven't had really any at all, but I will be making a list and updating the file. So just doing a bit of cleanup and maintenance. It's a rite of passage for first edition books, but you know, I'll be keeping a bead on it. The second book is already in the works. I started planning it last year, and I'm very excited to be, you know, starting on it this year properly. I'm gonna start writing it, like full on writing it, in September. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm just collecting my notes, thinking through what I want. I don't exactly have a title yet, but yeah. And the ebook is pretty good. I've got a version of the ebook. I downloaded one on Apple and Kindle. It's pretty good. You can actually change the color of the screen to like an off-white beige or a green or a black. You know, so it's easier on the eye. So it's not a screen. The actual book is printed full color print, which means white paper, which is a finer quality paper. It's heavier. That's for the sake of the illustrations, because the only way to go with an off-white for that is to make the illustrations black and white. And I just felt that would be robbing the book of a huge element, which is these characters, and they are so colourful. There are over 80 illustrations in the book, full colour illustrations. So, you know, it costs a lot to produce. And that's why it's probably a higher price point than a lot of books, because it isn't the type of book that you buy at an airport and read on a plane to Tenerife. It is more of a, you know, full on, you know, experience. I didn't want to add like a thing at the back of the book, keys, glossaries, people constantly going back to check who the characters are and what the hell everything is. I wanted to write the book in a dynamic way that would explain things in the lore and the world building when it became relevant. So characters will have their illustrations when they're introduced, and every character has multiple illustrations. So not only will you get to see what they look like after they're introduced, but say they take a few chapters out the book and they're doing something else, and then they come back into the book, you will get a second illustration just to remind you of who they are. And a lot of the main key characters have 3 illustrations across the book, because it's a big book, and you want to remember who they all are and what they all look like. And of course, all the illustrations are different. You get close-ups, different angles, different clothing. So that's what I went for. So you know, we went all out, and of course, Carmen over there,
hello,
was, you know.
I don't know if I can be heard from over here.
Can you hear Carmen? Because she illustrated the shit out of this book.
Yeah.
Like, you know, obviously the illustrations were sort of, they had, you know, you had the CGI models as a base, but when you read the book, you'll understand this, that a lot of the characters are completely new and original that don't really have their models finished yet. So Carmen was able to actually, you know, put those all together in like, fuck, man, there's a lot. So, yeah. So I do have some things. I come bearing gifts. Oh yeah, Colin. That's right.
Oh. Jesus fucking.
In case anyone's curious.
And that's not all of them. That's down there.
Jesus, what? More? You bring those over, Carmen.
Okay.
This is sort of what the books. This is what the book looks like without before publishing. So obviously this is what you're getting for your money. You know, you've got the some of the illustrations that I printed off just to see how they looked. And of course, the book itself. Oh,
There you go.
Carmen just handed me the rest of it. So yeah, I'll Jesus Christ, I'll have to move the microphone so I can show you. I can show you a bit about what's in this book with this. Yeah. And like I said, links are available in the description for Barnes & Noble, American Amazon, UK Amazon, ebook, paperback, hardback. If you are in Europe or in another country, go to your local Amazon, search Amygdala Sam Fenner, or look at the local bookstores in your area, your online bookstores, Apple Books, things like that. You will find it eventually. Like I said, the book only went live about 30 hours ago, and these things usually take up to a week to start appearing everywhere. Waterstones will have it. You will be able to get it. You know, the prices will, plateau. So, yeah. These are some of the illustration tests that we did. That's one of the Lucy illustrations in the book. Let's have a look here. Ooh, hello. We got Ludwig. I think that's his first illustration. Nice. He's very long, isn't he? Of course, you will have the titles of the characters, so you will learn them as they go. This one might look familiar. Hang on a minute. Jesus Christ. I'm probably going to try and separate the illustrations. Not all of them are appropriate to show on stream because, mild nudity in some cases. Like, a lot of the characters would... Yeah, Carmen, tits. Because I'll tell you what, Carmen, mythologically and historically, everyone's been fine with the 100-titted goddess of, whatever the fuck, and Kali and Medusa and the Sphinx and the mermaid. So yeah, I wanted a nice traditional mythological theme for my characters. So fuck, yes, of course. Of course. Who doesn't like a good tit? But yeah, you've got Shale there. She was actually in Satellite City. You might notice. She's also in the book. I'll read some sections as well. Ooh. Oh, this should be good. So these were like print-offs that we did, just to see how it would actually look on the page. Let's see which one's probably the best to show. Well, that one's not appropriate for younger audiences, so we'll just go with Sombra, because So it will sort of look like that. You'll have the writing on one side and then the illustration on the other, in a nice little sort of windowed style. So when you meet the chapters are very long. There's 28 chapters, prologue and epilogue, and when you meet a character, you will meet them after the sub-chapter. The chapters are, as I said, very long, and so they're compartmentalized in sub-chapters with little titles. So after the particular section that a character is introduced, you will more than likely get their illustration. If you don't, then they'll probably appear later. But it's mostly for the key characters. But there are also a lot of key characters as well. I think everyone will have fun. I'm going to try and find where this pile begins. Oh, there's Yeshua. There he is. I feel like the guy off. Has anyone ever seen Small Soldiers, where he's trying to sell the God, I am Archer Leader of the Gorgonites, and he's just like, and this is Lucy. She's an alien from before the universe, and this is Yeshua. He's one of the greatest entertainers in that world. Shale. Does anyone please tell me that this reference isn't going unnoticed? You must have seen Small Soldiers. It's an amazing film. She's a writer for Ruthergush, which is the newspaper office in fucking Someone said my American accent is on point.
No.
Yes!
Don't encourage this.
You heard it here first. My American accent is absolutely 100% accurate. I know exactly what...
Negative.
Carmine, you come over here and you read this book right now.
Send brownie.
Or I'm going to send you to the dark room. What else have I got here? I need to be careful with some of these. That is a... That's a tip. Okay, actually. Okay, there we go. That's that. There we go. I will stick those down here where I know where they are. And we can maybe read... That's my mum. We can maybe read a little bit of chapter 1. I can maybe entice you. If I can find the thing. Maybe I could read the prologue. Who would like to hear the prologue and a little bit of chapter 1? You can, if you want to hear the prologue, I can read the prologue. We don't need to read the prologue. It's not very long, but if you want to read, but I can entice you. I can lure you into the world. Well, all right then. Let me decide where the fuck I'm gonna start here, because I want to isolate the. Okay, this will do. Oh shit! I've been getting like these super chat things. What did they say? I don't know. I'm trying. What the fuck? Okay, there's one here saying from Captain Spire. Here's a 10 for the near decade we've watched. Fucking hell! It's been 10 years. Jesus Christ. Thank you for not giving up on it. Thank you for some of the most original and dynamic characters we've seen. You wait till you read the book. You just wait. Congrats on your book being out now. From Austria. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to read the prologue and a bit of chapter 1. And we'll see where we go.
People can follow along on Amazon.
People can follow along on Amazon with their very own ebooks. But yeah, hang on a minute. Let me just adjust some things here. You know what I'm gonna need? I'm gonna need some space. I'm gonna need some. My desk is full of paper.
Hold on. How long have the potatoes been in this?
Oh shit, the potatoes. 1 minute left, Carmen.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to check on the potatoes, Carmen?
Yeah, I'll take them off the heat. I wanted to make tea.
We're making stew, by the way. I decided to start this stream while the potatoes were boiling. So if you're curious as to why me and Carmen just shat our pants over potatoes, then that's why. Thanks, Carmen.
I'll take them off the heat. You need anything?
Have I got tea? Yes, I think I'm okay. But you could make a second cup of tea. I may need it. Please. I made you 2 teas.
Okay.
Yeah, I made you 2 cups of tea at once at the same time. Right. I'm just gonna click on a Jesus fucking yeah, that's fine. I'm just checking all the sites, the site availabilities. That's fine. What else is there? The American Amazon. Excuse me. That's fine. And this one. That's fine. Okay, good. Right. I'll read you the prologue and then a bit of chapter 1. And actually, wait a minute. Let me just make sure that this is. There's a bit of white paper here in the middle. Interesting. Is this all in order? Okay, I'm just checking before I read this that it's all going to be fucking in order. Okay. Jesus. Can you all hear me from here? Am I the mysterious blank piece of paper? We'll never know what that was or what it was doing there. It was just a strange blank piece of paper. Okay. Prologue 1. The Kivik Animals. It wasn't a big bang, it was progress beyond all frontiers. And long before our waking forests, our rolling hills, our starry nights, there was the Kivawak. The Kivawak was not of celestial shape. No galaxies, quasars, stars, or planets, for these were but its children. It rested as a fractal structure upon the surface of space-time, a whirlpool of chemistry, a layered labyrinthian land. This world lived as a maddening canvas, slave unto anarchy and alien arrangements, a Kivik landscape. A cascade of formations was the parent of the known cosmos, a painting of light, energy, mass, colour, cradled in swirling fractals. To visualize, one might look to the Mandelbrot set, a mathematical equation, z equals z squared plus 3, to provide a simple glimpse into the majesty of a Kivik structure through a dance of complex numbers, but only a glimpse. It would seem plain to the meanest intelligence that in a world such as this, dictated by wild absurdity, life would simply not exist. And yet the Kivawak was inhabited by one style of fauna. Enter the Kivawakian, or simply Kiva for short. Thank you, Carmen.
Here's your tea.
My tea?
Yeah, how much is in the other one?
It's about half depleted.
What?
Thank you.
You've gotten your daily squeeze.
Thank you. These animals roamed their multi-layered realm in symbiotic synchronicity to its madness. As with all life, these creatures were the result of humble beginnings, developing and evolving under the immense natural selection pressures of their home, far beyond that of the nurturing earth, whose realities would be considered forgiving and merciful by contrast. Only through the pressures of a crushingly objective world did these animals eventually thrive in their vicious land. In the face of such heartless natural mysteries, Kivawakians were the grandest of answers, organisms of severe strength, agility, symmetry, colour, and beauty. Beyond the tooth and the claw, the Kivas summoned blades from bone and daggers from soft flesh and fur, utilities born of majestic bodies in answer to the great challenges placed before them. They moved untouched by time, their ends only prescribed by others of their breed, immortal, but not invincible. The result of these qualities was a species able to retain its collective knowledge, rather than passing it down through generations, where one might witness a loss in potency. Instead, the Kivawakians themselves carried the flame of knowledge ever onward. It takes no effort at all to imagine a far advanced Earth, had its brilliant minds lived consistently through the ages. Alas, and to our doom, they grazed the world like falling stars, glittering, then vanished into the dark, leaving only the ghost of their light. However, this doom did not plague the Kivawak, and steadily, after the withering of significant time, the animals had developed intellects markedly more complex than any other. Some might ask, what makes a Kivawakian? A simple question with a rather complex answer, for they lacked consistency in likeness. They could be large and small, lean and dense, winged, clawed and tentacled. These animals were the result of nature's perfect fire, and so they adhered to the principles of that flame. This meant that they could be strong, fast-muscled, slender, light, heavy and powerful, but always creatures of great quality and blood. A Kivik animal may be identified by many things, the easiest among them being their shared physical traits, few though they were. All had pupils crossed like clowns, and diamonds upon dilation, and 3 navels marked their bellies. Strange patterns painted their flesh, around the face in particular, like the makeup of a dark carnival. Mammalian, reptilian, amphibian, molluscoid, insectoid, avian, and aquatic formations could all be observed across the breed, but not to any of these characters did they belong. To these categories did they belong, only to the Kiviwak. However, despite these brilliances, the animals lived within chaos, caged by instinct, slave to powers physical only. None had yet dreamed of a world beyond the rude beast, which gnawed and howled, naked, without language or law or ambition. And then came Locket, the Lady of Blackenrend. Now you would get, I don't think we have it printed off, but you would get an illustration. This is the illustration page for the Kiviwaks. You get to see that in the book. 2. The Lady of Blackenrend. Little was ever documented in the dark times before Locket, for it was she who led the charge in cultural progression. From the very beginning, her mind was noteworthy and tuned to the wavelength of order and competence, unlike the monster who bore her, Freda, a creature of chaos and power. Freda was indeed the largest animal recorded at that time. Her description lies in the record of memory, long since transcribed to the pages of Kivik history. Her enormity was greater than anything of earthly mould, a wolven titan who dwarfed the mountains of Blackenrend. Her furless body was pale, glamorous, and smooth, defined by extraordinary sinew. The head of the beast was crowned in 8 long ears and 46 horns, many of them small and decorative, 10 serving as merciless impalers, curving around her skull like spears of impervious bone. At the end of her snout was a nose of bluish tint, wet and sensitive to the stench of flesh and fear. Her 8 silvery eyes were tuned to movements sudden in nature, and outstanding colours of an impossible spectrum, shades only available to us in dreams, and stolen back by memory upon our return to the waking world to save our minds from madness. From her scalp and down her back grew a frosty white mane, a flash-frozen waterfall. The stark display ended only at the tip of her tail, so meandering that few ever saw its concluding array of rending spines. And heavy was her chest, lined with dark nipples, a house to protect her heart, pumping greed, lust, and hatred through physical cataclysm. This was Freda, ascendant to Locket, the great terror of Birth Peak, the beast of Blackenrend. Freedom from the dominion of horror would be no easy task, as Freda was Empress, Queen, and Sovereign of that land, though such titles they called her not. Locket knew that order and social contract would need to be forged in the fires of conflict, and hot was to be her flame. With that reality accepted, she drew up her plans, and for the first time, war came to the Kiviwak. A conflict that spread from the rolling hills to the roots of Birth Peak, a battle that stained the lands red. The long struggle was ended with the death of Freda. Splayed headless was the beast, conquered at last, the chest a mountainous icon of defeat, and so the War of the Ladies, as it was named, came to a bloody end. But the humiliation of Freda was only the first of Locket's dictations. Soon the great lady turned her horned head away from the lands of Blackenrend and toward dreams of civilization. This is the illustration page for Freda. Yes, you do get to see what she looks like in the book. Ooh.
What was that?
It's, ooh, you know.
Cool.
3. The Underbirth. After the wounds of conflict were licked, Locket's eyes and ambition set upon the Glaze, a vast land of white biblical glory and fierce beauty, decorated with shimmering light and startling geography. It was in the Glaze that Locket would build the Underbirth, the most significant of Kivik structures, a great black sphere held in place by 5 bridges which anchored the city deep. Once rooted, the inner workings of the underbirth were set in motion. The underbirth was a city of extraordinary vision comprised of 3 prime districts: the Casino, Hamelot, and Thumb. First, imagine a black hollow sphere of architecture, roughly the size of Saturn, a thick complex of labyrinthine townships, vast lakes, and twisting cobblestone streets. This dense crust of metal, brick, wood, water, and stone was the Casino, the largest city district. From Casino streets, one could look to the sky and glimpse the far side of the city curving overhead. Next, imagine a smaller sphere, about the size of Mars, hanging at the center of the Casino like the nucleus to an atom. This green orb was the Thumb. You can say Thum or Thumb. Depends on the accent. Home to all... What?
Your American accent. You always like revert to...
Shut the fuck
Southern.
up, Gorman.
What's
What's all this then?
Tuesday. Tuesday, isn't it?
This green orb was the Thumb, or Thum, home to all things political, historical, and important. It was host to libraries great and sprawling, mosaicked bathhouses of oceanic scale, magnificent courts and lecture halls and quiet reading rooms. Home to the proudest thinkers, writers, fighters, and legislators, the thinking mind of the city. Finally, imagine 5 blue rings textured by streets, rivers, and towns orbiting the Thumb, each tailored to specific pillars of civic quality. This was the Hamelot. Built upon these proud halos were the finest of markets, gardens, institutions, and cityscapes, accompanied by the symphony of life, the bustle of a free economy, the joyful entertainers about their rounds. Unlike the Kiviwak itself, the underbirth was a place ruled by order, thinking, politics, poetry, art, and above all, competence. Constructed by the fields of Kivic mechanics and sciences, the underbirth bore the mark of animal genius, thinkers at last, and thus the border of their land they named the Madness Frontier. The streets coiled and twisted, creating veins of prestigious towns and wards, like splashings of otherworldly art. Water flowed upward and downward through coiling canals, and light was not held in a flame or a bulb, but instead grew through the streets in photons of phosphorescence and colour. In fire, metal, blood, and ink, Locket's home was forged. There came the Long Watch, the Freudian Loyalists, the Howler War, and the Trade Revolution. This birthed the golden epoch of Locket's law, and the Kiviwakians who had followed her splendid ambition lived lives beyond the previous frontiers of imagination. Dressed in chain, silk, and fabric, bespectacled and hatted they were, the writers and speakers of an expanding language, the authors and citizens of law. The animals had become civilized. Please note, the world to which you are about to embark does not adhere to earthly sensibilities, morals, or principles. The Kivic animals therein are potent, hazardous, and carnal beings. With this in mind, tread carefully upon this odyssey. That is the prologue. You get 2 illustrations of the city, inside the city, outside the city. Be sure to buy the book to see them. Is this another mysterious white page with nothing on it? Whatever could it mean? And here we have part 1. You'll notice the motifs. There are motifs throughout the book, little bits of art done by Carmen that respect the reader's attention. One thing I wanted to do is create a book that just feels classic and authentic and loved. So you will see little bits and bobs throughout. And the blank pages are even filled in with some really beautiful imagery. Are we ready to read a little bit of chapter 1? Draconic Sparkle, hello. Congratulations on this amazing accomplishment. Out of curiosity, which character was the easiest to write for? Who was the hardest? Fuck. The easiest character to write for? Jesus. That's a good question. I think the easiest would probably be Lucy, because I drew a lot of my experiences growing up from her. She's quite young in the book, and a lot of the mistakes she makes, her temperament, definitely, came from things that I've done, things that I've experienced. Ludwig as well. As I think he's a younger character. I think the hardest characters to write for are the ones that are furthest away from me in terms of age, position, imagining what it would be like with, completely different life experiences. Lucy's young, I'm young, I know what it's like to be young, I know what it's like to have friends and lose friends and be interested in things and people and see the world with, sparkle in the eyes and really want to see everything, the naivety and a certain degree of arrogance. But when you have these characters that have been alive for the human equivalent of thousands of years, hundreds of years, it's difficult. You've got to think about what that's like. You've got to draw from experiences that you haven't had, and you've got to trust in your perception and observations. But that's the job of a writer, you know what I mean? No one writer can be everyone, can experience everything, can feel everything. So you've got to do your best to analyze and pay attention and listen to people, especially people you don't like, especially people you disagree with, especially people you fucking hate. Because if you don't, it's all going to come out one-sided. You're going to create essentially the book equivalent of a circle jerk, and it's not going to be very fun to read for people. Because I can always tell in TV shows, movies and books when the writer is just projecting what they think onto the characters. They're not characters, they're sock puppets. And it can be very difficult at times to write a character who you really don't agree with. But you've got to do them justice, because people do think like that. And they might not be wrong. You might be wrong. You might be the fucking idiot. You've got to show them the respect and really analyse their argument and do it justice. And that's difficult. But I think it can be done, and I definitely think I accomplished it here. The people who are reading the book and some of the people who have read the book have, they've given me some, quite a bit of confidence that I've accomplished this, because one of the common things that I keep seeing is people saying how unopinionated the book is. The characters have opinions, yes, but the book doesn't. You are allowed as the reader to think for yourself and decide for yourself who you like and who you agree with. And the book does not flaunt my morals or anyone else's. And it doesn't shame anyone for liking one character or the other. You are allowed to go into this, hear what other characters think, what other people think, unvetted, unfiltered, and make up your mind. And I learned a lot from writing this. I am not the same person when I started writing this. I've learned a shit ton about different perspectives that I never would have fucking entertained. And if I can do that for some people reading, some people who, normally they see something and think, oh god, ignore that, hate that, fucking block that, I don't agree with them, block. If they can pick up this book and see a character that maybe they like and actually just experience the argument without any polarization or without any of this shit, this ideological nonsense that gets in the way of actual objective, thinking, then I think I've won. I think I've done it. And based on what people are saying so far, I think there's a good chance of that.
Hey, Sam.
Yes, Carmen.
Kira, they asked a question that's kind of related to what you're talking about.
Did you ever surprise yourself with where a character plotline went while you were writing? Yes. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were characters in this. There are characters in this who were supposed to just be introduced and die. Like they were just fodder. Like I'll throw this character in here, whatever. And then I was writing it, and it's like the character fights in your head, like, oh, actually, no, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna do something else. And one of the characters was I won't say who. She was designed to literally die. She was designed to just be a bit of a throwaway thing. And now she's the only character in the entire book that has a whole chapter dedicated just to her perspective. She's the only character in the book that has that. She's not the most explored character in the book. There are, like, you have super main characters. She is one of the main characters, but she definitely went from being a throwaway character to being one of the characters who has, like, a laser beam focused on her at times. And yeah. By the way, again, I'll repeat this. The book is not out of stock. If you're in Europe, if you're in the UK, it says temporarily out of stock. It is print on demand. The page is just updating. You can order the book, and you will receive a book as soon as they become available. These things can take a few days or even a week to settle. The book only went live about 30 hours ago, so if you're seeing things that don't look right, just keep an eye on it, and it'll be fine. And you've got the free sample, and you've also got the ebook in case you just want to start reading. And yeah, okay. So we're gonna read a bit of chapter 1. Who's ready? Who's ready for a little bit of chapter 1?
Let's go, baby. Ooh.
See, I've got 2 cups of teas. Yeah. What if I poured this one in here, and then this one in here? So it's like, what? Sorry, Carmen?
Alchemy.
Yeah, it's like alchemy. Perfect. So now one of them is. So now one isn't cold and one isn't hot. They're both lukewarm.
That sounds terrible.
Sounds fucking beautiful. That's just okay. Part 1. The mind of an animal, granted all the pleasures of life without pressure, effort, or cost, oft creates its monsters, for an idle brain must justify its own existence. This is the dance of civilization. Locket, the Grand Voice. There are 3 parts to the book. Every part opens up with a quote from the lady herself. Another mysterious blank page. Oh, I know what these are now. I think I know what these are. I think the blank pages that you actually put the eyes on in the end.
Yeah.
I think that's them. Also, every chapter opens up with one of Lockett's laws and who authored it. So you will be learning the laws as you read. Or dollhouse etiquette, or regulations, or something like that. You'll be learning about the world and the political atmosphere as you read. So this is another reason I didn't want to do like a little thing at the back of the book where people have to keep. I hate it in books when they do that. They just throw fucking information at you, and then you have to keep going back to this appendix. Like, what the fuck am I reading?
I did like Watership Down whenever they did.
Fair enough. But your Watership Down is also a shorter book.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Richard Adams explained it in the chapters, like, the Sylph layer.
Oh yes, well that's fine. Yeah, he can. Yeah. He can do it in the like. I do prefer that when the author will chime in. But damn, man, fuck. I hate it when I have to break my immersion to keep flipping through. So, you will you will receive the law when it's relevant. Okay, so here we go. Chapter 1. Part 1. The Little Things. Regulations Act 102. Individuals, freelance or otherwise, must subject all new chemical and material constructs for review under equal conditions as stated in Poisons Act 94. The unlawful distribution of unregulated chemicals and materials may result in the destruction of associated products, trades, and individuals. 15th Law of Article 3, authored by Lockett, the Grand Voice. That was an example of one of the laws that you will see. Here we go. Mind yourself, little thing, Sally Sefton would often say. For the great mountains of the south were not hewn by giants, but pressed gently together from dark root to jagged peak. And the shifting of stone, subtle and slight, gave rise to the easterly oceans, drowning the lands in drear death. And the veins of that vastness trickled west, girl, to where our home was made, above calm silver mirrors. Little things, Lucy, little things. They shape the world. And yet, Lucy Lacemaker had not seen the great mountains to the south, nor the rolling fields of Blackenrend. The city was ever before her, casino streets curving far overhead like the shell of a black planet. She had not seen tall waves, royal and imperious, come to drown the world. The city was ever above her, the thumb her only star. And around that political sphere, the 5 Hamallow rings orbited like satellites, blue luminescent halos casting down a gentle glow. But Lucy saw often the face of nature, for it lived loud upon the streets of the underbirth, that proud and ancient city. The images of home came sweetly to her silver eyes, and nothing about it was of alien decree. It was, by all accounts, normal. I immediately lost where I was because I glanced up. Normal. From a slate rooftop she found her vantage, casting her gaze far across Vileborn, her hometown, looking east to the inky lake, beyond the low docklands and the coiling cobblestone streets. Then her eyes drew inward, toward the light that played upon the high rooftops as silver and bronze, twinkling and intertwining like ivy. Finally, Lucy looked down upon the animals, her compatriots, naked and clothed, tall and short, slithering, crawling, striding, hairy, slimed and smooth. Upon their faces she bent her gaze. Small and fraught with youth, her defence was distance, intuition, a certain awareness, and such was her weaponry also. Lucy Lacemaker had a little body, frosted with white fur and decorated with crimson polka dots of varying size. She had soft, bright eyes with a diamond patch framing her left like a sharp red ruby. Her hair was short, scruffy and silver, framed by a pair of slumping pointed ears, the left of which was red. Lucy's face was weaselly and smug, with pear-shaped nostrils, red whiskers, and full cherry lips. Her chest was filled with crimson colour, like a great heart sprawling across her ribs and down her belly. A long and striped tail swayed at her back, and behind her pretty smile lay white razor teeth. A fowler she was, young and gaunt, no larger than the common cat, though her posture and frame was closer to simian. Between Lucy's crossed legs were the white bones of a stolen meal, and long after the sating of her appetite, she watched the world move, studying, as if some great puzzle. "She's waiting for him again, ain't she?" said a young voice from a neighbouring rooftop, male and rough. Another answered, "She's obsessed, that one." Female, a touch softer, straining for a haughty tone. "Oi, Lacemaker, he's gone. You won't see him for dust, old girl." Lucy flicked her silver eyes to the 2 urchins opposite, her forehead wrinkling with irritation. She spoke boisterously. "Fido and Cly, walla, 2 cheeks of the same arse." A cockney twang, somewhat elegant. "What's up, old lavs?" She twirled her whiskers about her finger. Fido, the first that spoke, was no taller than a foot, thin and wrapped in dark red skin, perched upon a dormant black chimney, a famished gargoyle. His soft lips, romantic blue eyes, and pipsqueak horns made a kinder face than his voice. "Nothing?" he said with vacant expression. Cly was larger in mass, though a similar height to her companion. Her dragonesque body bore greasy green flesh, a heavy chest, and a sour face. She had wings too weak to fly, in place of arms, transparent skin connecting to the ankles like a bat. "Bah! Let's just go, Fido," she hissed with a flap of her wings. "She's friends with shady folk, for the chop shop she is." Lucy sprang to her feet with a fistful of bones and hurled them across the gap. "It's you who's for the chop, not I." The two urchins laughed in two separate octaves, but the sound was far from musical. "Oi!" roared a gravelly voice from below. There stood a 6-foot werewolf of a male, black fur, the glimmer of ruby eyes. He wore a dusty brown coat and grey trousers. Upon the brim of his top hat lay 2 white bones. "Bloody fowlers!" He shook his fist. "Sorry, Bill," Lucy called down as Fido and Clyde scampered away. Billy Pikey, for this was his name, was a matured Kivawakian, a predator, at a force not to be tested. He removed his hat, shook his fur like a wet dog. "What a mess!" "I said I was sorry." He knew the voice. "Lace-maker." Bill plucked the last bone from his hat and held it up. "You pay for that," she cackled. "Of course I didn't." The less astute might have seen a dark wolven face creased in anger, but Lucy saw a sparkle of humour behind the eyes and resting shoulders. "Stay out of trouble, lace-maker," he said in a softer voice, then strode on. Lucy smiled and waved him off. "Will do, Billy." Cutting it close with that one, she thought. Still, he's softer than he looks. In her short life, Lucy's time had been spent scavenging what she could, avoiding the crushing jaws of larger matured animals and observing her kind, the world in which she lived. This was a culture built upon an economy of fair trade, law, order, the humiliation of the weak, and the admiration of the strong, a city of animals. But with all the wonders of her home, it was ethology Lucy took to. She paid close attention to the art of faces, how they twisted and turned, telling their own stories, exposing the lies of lips. She had found that while words could be filtered with a dishonest poison, expression and language of the body was not so easy to mask. Facial tension, the pose of a shoulder, the fleeting movements of evasive eyes, the little currents of a voice as it ebbs and flows, the true language. And reading truth, untouched, uncontaminated, was the skill Lucy aspired to master. She saw words from afar through the dance of lips, read tone through posture, and attitude through eyes. When fully applied, Lacemaker could foresee immediate intentions by the flow of a brow, the flare of nostrils, and the pressure applied to the grip of a glass. Alone, her mind fell into reflection. I'm not obsessed. Couldn't be. Is obsession to want for a cordial end? To seek truth where the lies live? Nonsense. Harmless curiosity is all it is. And what damage could I possibly do? After all, I'm only a little thing. That's the end of part 1. Well, part 1 of chapter 1. Obviously, as I said, the chapters are pretty long. I might read a few more parts if you guys are down, but allow me to swig some tea. A little Lucy.
You're so small.
Indeed. Oh. Right. 2. The Invisible Hand. Economy could certainly be considered beautiful if viewed through the correct apertures. An organism comprised of complex relationships where behind the curtain of blissful ignorance the chains of production rattle. Much like culture, it is not a thing consciously designed. It evolves, integrates, and inhabits the peripheries where it surely belongs. However, when things go awry, it becomes necessary to lift the veil and bear witness. As she waited, Lucy moved her frosty eyes back to the streets below, looking to the vast collection of shops and freelance stalls, listening to the flow of trade and productivity. She wished for a life within that world, a life of striving, accomplishment, respect, creation. Survival was the duty of all young fowlers, and the wonderful glow of adulthood teased and inspired. Lockett's economic engine was one of barter, item for item, service for service, fueled by reputation. A free market of competition. Nobody sold more than they bought, nor bought more than they sold. Currency, to the Civic eye, was worthless, its only function being to exchange for items of actual quality, a hollow promise to pay. After the trade revolution, Lockett lay waste to the concept. She observed that the pursuit of empty tokens was but a sickly cousin to the direct exchange of services and goods. This resulted in a free flow of product and left all within the city open to acquire direct fulfillment. Of course, value was relative to the individual. Reputation in the underbirth also held worth. Beginning with nothing, minds weighed with ideas could ascend the social staircase and thrive through competence. Demand, product and public preferment, the lifeblood of civic trade. Yet nature seeks balance, objectivity. Always there will be winners and losers. Grand thinkers stood proud atop the staircase, far below the living failures, serving as the steps. The rooftop on which Lucy sat belonged to one of the quieter establishments. Like all civic buildings, it was a fine display of art and design, dark wood, richly carved, licked by a swirling metal frame. Titia's Hyde was the name, a charming laugh house that poured dark and heavy drinks, traded fairly, and respected one's solitude. This, she knew, was the place Goldune would come. Sure enough, Lucy spied him approaching from Modric Square, swanning his way down Teal Street, hands pocketed, head down, inconspicuous, but Lucy knew better. Goldune was cloaked in soft sapphire fur. He had 4 marigold eyes burrowed into a canine face, with 4 large horns sprouting from behind stout violet ears. He stood at approximately 10 feet. His red nose twitched as his head lifted, taking in the fine aromas. He wore a long azure coat lined with 8 pockets at each side and 1 at the breast. Goldune kept the coat tied together with the severed tails of conquered opponents, a variety of textures and shades. Slick, grooved, groomed, suave, some would say. A fool, Lucy sneered within her head. He entered through the doors below, with his long tail trailing behind, blissfully unaware of the silver eyes pinned to his face. Lacemaker scampered to an open window, squeezed through the gap, and concealed herself behind a rich wooden beam. She moved along the bones of the building, above the heads of drinking clientele, and leapt across the high shelves, disappearing behind a line of bottles. Goldune sat with downcast eyes, facing the shelf. His seat was the folded body of some nameless fool. The establishment was sprinkled with these conquered servants, minds long destroyed, kneeling and folded, shamed and objectified. Indeed, the Kivawakians had less of a need for crafted seating when a mindless body could contort so pleasantly. An unrotting vessel had to serve some utility, and with no concept of the grave, they put the dormant to work. Lucy peeked between the glass bottles and studied Goldune's face. Nervous, scared, possible regret. This is it. Soon after, he was joined by another. This was a female dressed in a dark Locketthian coat, top-hatted and lean. Lucy saw only the back of her head, but enough to identify black fur and 2 pointed ears squashed by the brim. "Who's this?" No, sorry. "Who's this? Goldune's met with many, but never her." The stranger's voice was strong and domineering. "Place an order," was her command. Goldune waved over an employee. He spoke in a common drawl. "Gives a bottle of grin, Etty, love." Lucy scoffed. Predictable as ever. The stranger raised a finger. "A glass of pucker, round-head cordial, please." Lucy inched closer with a raised brow. Curious. Not the local palate. The drinks arrived, but only Goldune drank. His voice was strong, but his posture betrayed the act. "Find the place okay?" "You will not speak," said the stranger, who pulled a small package from her pocket, stitched together with red lace, and placed it upon the table. "The owner must be obedient, and the establishment suitable." Goldune leaned back. "Dimensions?" 200 square feet, minimum. No blood holes, no riffraff. She gestured to the package. "Inside you'll find the products, the list of buyers, and a contract. You will return the contract signed." Goldune hushed his voice. "Written by Fontaine? You will not refer to your employer by name again, do you understand?" "Yes." Delay. This is a tough sell, Walla Wah. She pushed the package toward him, then arose from her headless seat. Then sell it well, Walla Wah. Or thou shalt play in us to such a degree. Wexel and her puppets cannot be bested on the streets, she answered. We must play a different game, and you will help us play it. Goldoon was measured as he peeled back the first layer of packaging. Can I ask? No. Right. He stopped and fought a rhythmic twitch of his brow, looking to her like a scolded child. I'll do my best. The stranger's voice for a moment seemed softer, kinder. We're doing a good thing, Goldoon. You must believe in us. Believe in our work. An idealogue, thought Lucy, stroking her chin. Interesting. Dangerous. Your final drop is at Faraway at the next Song Tower chime. It'll be during the town's red phase, so move promptly. And remember, data. Finally, the stranger pulled from her pocket a small clockwork device, flipped open the circular lid, reviewed the mechanisms inside, and snapped it shut. After pocketing the device, the stranger turned, and with a flamboyant swish of her tail, exited the establishment unseen, like a passing shadow. Goldoon drank his glass, empty, eyes clenched shut. Lucy crept back down the shelf, but in her haste, her tail knocked loose a half-depleted bottle, spreading shattered glass and alcohol to the floor. She cringed as Goldoon snapped his head to the broken mess. A dark patch oozed through the rug, turning red to black. His yellow eyes moved swiftly up to the shelf, but by then, Lacemaker was gone. Onward and upward, Goldoon, he muttered to himself. Onward and upward. He arose from his folded seat and grabbed the package from the wooden table. He gave the item a quick sniff, letting the scent fill his nostrils. Nothing. Scratching the back of his neck, Goldoon placed the package into his left breast pocket, separating the folded contract tied to it. He stepped out with a whistle and a smack of his lips, leaving behind the warm light inside, which grew in shades of butter and honey through the walls, floor and ceiling like living fairy lights. Lucy watched from above. At that moment, a musical sound roared throughout the underberth, performed by strings, pipes and bells in the key of D, the fourth tone. Such tones were the city's measurement of time, an auditory system to inform those without the luxury of light. Even the deaf would feel it. There were 7 of these tones, each one similar to about 3 months by earthly reckoning, and with the passing of all 7, a new stanza would begin. Within each township loomed the Song Towers, their function being to musically mark the passage of time in the form of ticks, bells, chimes and tones, similar to minutes, hours, days and months. Bathed in the voices of the vile-born Song Towers, Lucy Lacemaker sprang across the rooftops like a darkling sprite, intangible and ever watchful. When ready, she would step into the living world and manifest her scolding ire. I'll read one more part if you want. But yeah, like I said, my chapters are very big. I can tell you now, chapter 1 is 9 parts. So yeah, big chapters, big boy chapters. Locket is in the book, yes, you might say. She's in a way the main character. I mean, yeah, of course she's in the book. She's she's in the prologue, but yeah, she is in the rest of the book as well. You might say the book is about her, but that's up to you. The book is over 1,000 pages long, 1,006 pages long, 240,000 words about. So, Christ, that's, 30 hours of content maybe if you read fast. What font size did you use for the book? It's I think it's more or less typical. It's about there's 34 lines per page. I counted 34 or 34 lines per page, I think. So it's pretty standard formatting. Didn't want the text too small. Didn't want it too big. So I'll read one more part. One more part to give you guys a feel for the world, and then we can yeah, I'll answer some questions and buy the book. Go check it out. And remember, just say it again, if you are in Europe or any other part of the world and Amazon is saying currently unavailable, the book is print to order. It's always available. If you place the order, Amazon will ship it when it's ready. The site page for Europe and the UK is still processing. In America, it's all up, it's all live, so the rest will follow. It will be up on Waterstones. It will be up on, fuck tons of sites, but it can take anywhere from a few days to even a week, 2 weeks for everything to fully process and appear. You will find links in the description for Amazon US, Amazon UK, and Barnes & Noble. If you are in another country, in Europe, anywhere else, go to Amazon, type in Amygdala Sam Fenner, check it out. You should be able to order your copy. Or go to the site of like a local book distributor, like a big name. Waterstones is probably going to be the best option. It's just not up on Waterstones yet, but it will be. So keep an eye on things, and it will show up. There aren't any villains in the book. That's entirely up to you, the reader. You can decide who you agree with. But yeah, anyway. So here we go. I'm going to read 3 of chapter 1. Part 3 of chapter 1. Part 3, or just 3. A Kivik Freak Show. Vileborn was a masterpiece of Kivik wonderment, bound together with delicious architecture. Even the wards, furthest from grandeur, were well maintained and typically crafted in the 3 most fashionable styles, Loketian, Winnowardian, and Sombrarian. Such beauty was lost on Goldoon, desensitized to wonder. He looked about himself, calculating. His timing would not be exact, but he was confident enough to dawdle. Goldoon knew that his final client was located in Faraway, a small riverside village at the next Song Tower chime during its red phase. Days and nights did not exist in the Kiviwak, but there were, however, light phases. A light phase was dictated by the shade dominating a particular area of the city. These came in spells of reds, yellows, purples, blues, and greens, often melding together like living liquid gems. There was also a black phase, the closest thing to nightfall. Assured of his punctuality, Goldoon started on his way, mindful of the time as it rolled on by. Outside many establishments, dressing doorstops and signposts, framed within display windows, were the headless and contorted bodies of living failures. And these headless forms were not necessarily dead in a technical sense, but rotulating. It would not be prudent to classify the beheaded as deceased, for even when thoughtless, a Kivik body lived. With minds removed, crushed or devoured, the bodies did not yield to decay, and so rotters they were, disgraced and vacuous. With heads and limbs capable of reattachment, only the thorough destruction of the brain assured a Kivik death. But the death of the mind was only the beginning, for it paled when compared to the destruction of legacy and memory. This brought indignity to the rotters, for nothing quite burns one's proud, lingering reputation more than the fiery kiss of shame. Note: rotulation could be brought about by beheading, damage to the brain or spine, excessive exhaustion, fever, blood loss, or significant shock. Recovery from rotulation was guaranteed so long as the head was returned with the mind intact. One might ask why the rotters were bent in such undignified ways. For this there are many reasons. Simply, the Kivers were not bound by earthly attitudes, especially in matters of death. But there is another explanation: the freak show. Animals are surely magnificent, but they are also beasts of blood who hunger for the conquering of their peers. The success of another may shed a cold light, but the fires of their failure warm to the bone. The Kivawakians were not unique in this thinking. They simply had not the nerve to deny it. For an animal in denial of its nature is nullified, as Lockett would often say. And the freak show never leaves, only does it transform, and it is little without its clowns. The Kivik concept of shame came down to two factors, mentality and physicality. Lockett's culture placed the highest value on the ability to think, speak and act. To be kivically shamed was to have these aspects mocked. For example, beheading was not a lethal process, but served as a sound way of rendering one's foe dormant, deleting all aspects of personality and intelligence, leaving naught but an object. Kivik punishment was the translation of power to shame, not only through fiery words, but through the derision of a proud form, strength bent and folded. And thus Galdoon smiled at the sight of these lesser beasts, kneeling and humbled, bent and splayed, a reminder to all that incompetence was not tolerated in Lockett City, that defeat was no point of pride, and that under Lockett's law, talent, intelligence and vision ruled absolutely. Immortal beings, free from the burden of time, long lives teeming with deeds and ideas, so very much to lose. Despite the distractions, curiosity slowly began to whittle away at Galdoon. The package inside his pocket teased and begged to be stripped of its shroud. He looked behind, to his left, his right, then wandered off to the grey shadows of a back street. Comfortably alone, Galdoon's hand pulled the small package loose and fondled the leathery skin, serving as the wrapping. Carefully, he peeled back the layers to reveal a wooden box with crude metal hinges. Inside the box was a row of 6 small bottles. He plucked one free from the collection and held it to his eye. It was a vial of silvery liquid, held within twisted glass and topped with a metal lid, a lavish-looking trinket. Interest gnawing, Galdoon unscrewed the ornate top and dabbed a single droplet of the substance onto the tip of his finger. Eager for a closer look, he carried the bead to a nearby wall where a lonely vein of light crept. Suddenly, as if insulted, a whip of silver leapt from the wall and set the fluid ablaze, and with an intense electrical flash, it was vanished in a hiss of smoke. Galdoon winced. With a glance to both ends of the alley, he sheathed the package in his coat and fled the scene with his chin to his chest. And there we go. What is gonna happen next? What's Lucy's beef? Man, what's her beef? What the fuck is that? Hey? You gotta find out. You gotta buy the book. Buy now. 0900 4903. Buy now.
I'm happy that Zio knew what that was from.
Yeah. It's the freak phone, and here's the party freak. Freddy Freaker! New dancing sensation, rocking the nation, doing the freak. Buy now. Or call now. 0900 4903. Call now. I know it's call now, but I'm selling a book, so it's buy now. Fuck. Well, anyway, that was part of chapter 1 of this book. Now, yes, I do not have the physical copies on me. I will do another stream when I have them to show you what they look like. Fucking hell. Yes, so I will answer some questions for a little while if that is what people would like, if that is what people would enjoy.
You gotta explain Satellite City. There's people in the chat that are thinking it's still canon.
Oh fuck me. Okay, yeah. Just in case people are curious, Satellite City I started that when I was like 19. I'm 25 now. Okay, so the ideas I had for the characters like fucking that long ago were pretty juvenile. Fucking funny. I will never deny that Satellite City was a blast, and goddamn, I still look back on those episodes and lose my shit, because boy, it was funny.
My favorite thing was in the Don't Panic episode, there were like 1 or 2 comments where people were like, yeah, you can definitely tell that American accent is fake. And that's just my voice.
That's just Carmen's voice. But yeah, the book is something I started in 2019 because I fell in love with the idea of telling a story that talks about animals and, you know, people, culture, you know, sort of like a political drama, just, you know, a real fun way to dig deep into these really interesting topics. And damn, I really wanted to do a book, so I did. I started in 2019, and then when I started to get to the end of the book in 2020, I realized, number one, doing the show was pretty, just in general, starting to stress me out, because, you know, you gotta write the script, you gotta wait for lines to come in, you gotta fucking deal with all sorts of shit. It's like, fucking hell. And also, but that was like a side thing. The main thing was I didn't want to have two conflicting canons. You know? Like, that makes sense, right? I didn't want people to think, well, which one's the real version? You know, is the book going to end up being like, is the prequel to Satellite? No, it isn't. Satellite City was just me wanting to experiment with these funny characters, so I put them in my house and had fun with them. And it was a blast. I fucking loved it. But I wanted to tell an actual story with them. Satellite City didn't really have a story. It was just me every week. I didn't write the scripts for the fucking episodes. You are aware of that. You are aware of the fact that I would literally just wake up in the morning, call Nick, call Joe, call Jade, and we'd just go in the car and drive to a location, set the camera up, and I'd just say shit on camera. I would just literally fucking say whatever came to my head and then write the episode around it. Like, I'm not fucking around here. Okay? And then I'd send the lines to the voice actors on Skype and just type them in, like, you gotta say this. That was it. I'm fucking serious. And then people's like, where's the story gonna go? Fucking hell, I don't know even now. But I wanted to tell a story. I didn't want the characters to just be like these one note, like Lucy's the crazy one, Dalton's the cheeky one, Ludwig's the serious one, you know, fucking Winifred's the quiet one. I didn't want that. Eisen's the innocent one. Fleischer's the, you know, the straight man, the sort of, you know, blah blah blah. I didn't like, they became something more. They evolved. They grew. Like, years went by, man. You know, they became something really interesting to me. And I wanted to tell the story of their world from, like, you know, from the beginning. I wanted to do something with them. Because a lot of people have ideas, they never do them. I want to do them. And I stuck with it fucking years and years and years. All this fucking stuff. And this is just like, that's just the last version. You know? I am going to be keeping an eye on the book over the next few weeks. Because obviously it's first edition. There are probably going to be some, like, typos that people report. As with every first edition ever released. The good news is that I do have the master document, and I can just fix those and, you know, update them. So I'm still really committed to getting this book just fucking, you know, just, you know, like, waiting for all the uploads to finish, making sure it's available everywhere, polishing when necessary. What changes will you make in later editions? I don't know. Second, like, if I ever do a second edition, me and Carmen are probably going to do some, like, new illustrations for the book. We may do some extended chapters, because I would really like to do, like, some extended bits, like, almost like a director's cut. Not that they're really necessary. Like, I don't feel like they're needed now, but I might just do them for fun, or, you know, why not? If it's a second edition, why not?
More slice of life.
Yeah, just little bits. But I'm really happy with how it is. I love it. I couldn't be happier with the writing. So the only thing that I'll really be changing is, like, if people find any typos, like mostly homonyms, where, like, it's spelt right, it looks right, but it's the wrong type of word. They're fucking really easy. That's a really easy mistake to make, and it's fucking really hard to spot, because when you're proofreading, it looks right, but it isn't. So I know, because it's first edition.
This went through a lot of people.
Yeah, it's you know, it's gonna have a few little goofs in there. But so the first thing I do will be to make a list and make sure that those are addressed as soon as I have, like, I'm gonna give it some time. Obviously, people need to read the book and, you know, etc. I don't want to be updating it, like, every day. So I'm just making a list. The important thing is the story, anyway. So yeah. Will there be a map? Jesus. I mean, fuck.
I don't think you
I don't think it's possible to do a map, because, like, it's not like a landmass. it's like a fucking 3-dimensional space. Like their world is like very. It's like I got a shit ton of verticality to it. Maybe like I might do a model. Like you can build it and paint it or something. That might be fun. Maybe a 3D map one day. But damn, that would like an online 3D map would be amazing someday. But damn, how many books do I plan on writing? Oh, yeah, sorry, the super chat. What was that? Which character in the book was the most fun to write? Sorry, I just saw that now. I apologize. Which was the most fun to write? I had the most fun with Locket. Because Locket is one of those. She's objective. She's a mechanical-minded person. Woman creature. Kivilakian. And being able to really explore some real difficult things through her was pretty fun, pretty surprising. Writing her dialogue, her debates, the way she talks, studying, so Locket was definitely really fun. There's a chapter in the book, which is essentially it's like 90% dialogue. I fucking love that chapter so much because I'm really happy with the way the characters talk, and obviously Locket is one of them. So yeah, Locket was really fun. Celia again was fun. Lucy, they're all fun. Honestly, I just love writing. I'm so excited to write the second book. As for how many books I plan on releasing, I don't know. I know it's going to be more than 6. I planned 6 initially. Originally it was 3 when I started in 2019. Oh shit! Should I put the Discord link, Carmen?
I just put it in. I mean, you can put it in the description.
Should I just put it in the description?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. If you guys want the Discord link, there are. Oh shit! Could you send me? Oh fuck.
Yeah.
I'll generate a link for myself.
Why am I gonna send it to you on Skype?
But what? Okay.
Someone's asking if the Kindle version is legitimate. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's legitimate. It's the same as the it's the same book. The illustrations are in there too. Yeah, there is a Discord. There is a discussion channel for the book. You can do. People have been.
Oh my god! I just checked the welcome chat. Now I'm scared.
Oh.
No, I have to verify people. Shit.
Oh boy, nice.
Pray for me.
But yes, there is a Discord. People have been making their own threads talking about like their experiences reading it. You can do art based on what you read. There is a safe for work art, not safe for work art based on the book, because there are scenes in the book that are like gore, violence, some more mature themes. So if you want to depict any part of the book or draw characters, you can do that. Obviously, there's a discussion. There are discussion channels. Yeah, Carmen, that has a YouTube thing tied to it.
Give me
It's okay. No, Carmen, I'll just do it myself. Watch, I'll do it. Like, click this button, generate a link. Do that. Generate. Shit.
Damn it, Chrome.
What was that?
Chrome's verifying people, and I was almost done, but my laptop is like kind of slow.
Okay, the Discord link is. Could you click on that, Carmen? It's in the description of the thing.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Look, my laptop is slow.
Oh, okay, okay.
Toon Boom, Style Guide, Discord.
But yeah, the Discord link is in the description. Just refresh the page, scroll to the bottom. Just make sure you read the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've combined 2 cups of tea. I think I've finished. Oh no, what's funny is this one came second, and I finished this one first, and this is the original I had. But it's sort of. Discord link is in the description now. What was I doing on here again? Let's check. Nice, okay. 09, 49, freak. That's such an earworm. God damn. I wanted to click on a button. Where was the button? There was the button. Okay, good. I'm just checking the book stuff now. Okay. Check this one. Good, and then this one. Nice. Okay. Yes, questions. What was the Oh, audiobook? Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. I there will be an audiobook, but I'm going to do it even better. It's not going to be an audiobook, it's going to be an audio experience. I want voice actors for the characters. I want ambiance. I want, some sound effects. Like, I want... There will be a version without the music, without the sound effects, and just a raw audiobook, but I want to do, like, an audio experience so people can just fucking immerse themselves. My dad is a musician. A lot of his music is the reason this, is what I imagine this world to. Concertina Ballerina being a prime example. Just original music, full voice cast, a separate voice for the narrator, something elegant, ambiance. What was that coming?
No, I'm just getting added at something and everything is super fucking slow for me.
Oh.
And freezing. Shit.
Yes. Well, anyway, yeah. If you wanna, I can see people have no idea. Like, oh god, some people based on the questions, like, Jesus. I think everyone's gonna be very pleasantly surprised by this. Like, I've already had people say that they really weren't expecting for the book to be what it was, but in a very good way. Because I can understand people going into this thinking it is going to be more of a goofy fantasy adventure with
gotta defeat the big bad.
Yeah, with shit like that, with all these crazy creatures. But the book is, it was written to explore, the human condition to the best of my abilities. There's a lot of psychology, politics, talks of economy. Like, if you listen to me read through the prologue and the first few bits of the chapter, you might have picked that up. And it only gets more, intense as it goes. Yeah, no, Sullivan isn't in the book. Oh god, it was one more. So yeah, I might end the stream soon if there's nothing else. If anyone has any questions, let me know. Since you're a first author, how many pages were you allowed to use? Was there a cap off? Oh, I mean, I self-published the book. Like, I didn't want any publishing house taking the rights off me. I saw Aragon, okay? I saw what they did to that. And I said, not me. No. Not gonna fucking happen. I also saw Game of Thrones Season 8 and Game of Thrones Season 7 and a chunk of Season 6. And I thought, no. I also saw Rings of Power,
Rings of Power was almost good. It was good early on, but then it kind of went to shit.
Yeah. The trouble is, you write something, you do something, you fucking put all your effort into it, someone else owns it, and then Netflix comes along and says, fucking, let's make this the world, let's do Amygdala but set it in a high school. Amygdala High. And then
I'd watch it.
Yeah, they pull a Velma, they do some shit, they don't understand it. You as the writer have to beg people to oh god, no. So yeah, it was self-published. So I own the rights. It's my fucking book. I get more money from every sale, and I don't need. I mean, I already have an audience who like want to buy it, and from there, word of mouth is the best thing that you can have to sell a book. So, I don't need them. I don't want them either. Plus, you can make any like if people report like any typos or any errors in the book, I have the master document. It's mine. I own it. I can change it and upload the files, and in a few days, it'll be done. Like, I mean, I could do that now, but I'm waiting until more people finish the book so I can get like a more thorough list. But that I can do that. If you publish with a publishing house, you're at their mercy. You are fucking at their mercy. They own you. Oh, hi, Erica. Netflix Lucy would be written as a moody human teen with Ludwig as her love interest, and Celia would die at the end of the season. Yeah.
Chris Pratt voices Lucy.
Chris Pratt as Lucy Lacemaker. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. No, I own this world. Me. It's mine. And at the end of the day, here's the fucking thing. It doesn't matter what publishing house you're with. It doesn't matter any of this shit. If people want it, they'll buy it. If they don't, they won't. If the book is good, it'll sell really well. If it's shit, it won't. Simple as that. No publisher's going to change that. You know what I mean? They're not. No amount of I know I published with this company is going to make it be like, oh well, your book's great then. No, you've got to write a good book. You've got to fucking put in the effort. It's not how it works. Sure, they might promote it. They'll fucking do X, Y, Z. But if a piece of shit is a piece of shit, So yeah, I would also like it on the record that I could have had the book published by a publishing house, a decent one as well, but I chose not to. I didn't want I did. There was an opportunity. There was an in. There was a road that I could have taken had I pursued it, but I was advised by pretty much everyone, especially my dad, who's lived in the entertainment industry, not to do that. Because when they own your work, they own your soul, they own your future, and
if they decide that they don't want to put it out anymore, they can just can it. And
yeah,
you can't do anything.
They can literally kill it if they want to, and you have to beg them for anything, and they take all your money. By the way, with these books, I take 80%. If you go with a publishing house, you take like 5 or so, fucking some shit like that. Get like a penny a book. Anyway, fuck it. That was a bit of a ramble, but yeah. So yeah, it is self-published. There are pros and cons with that. Like the pros massively outweigh the cons. The pros are that I own the work, I own the files, I can make any changes I want. I own the IP, I own the book. It's mine, okay? I have full control, and no one can tell me to change the book, or no one can fucking strong arm me into taking bits out or adding bits in. No one can do that. The downside to that is I don't have a publishing house, a team of proofreaders, and so there probably are some goofs in there. But even with professionally published books by like publishing houses, you still have typos in the first edition. It just happens.
Dune had a typo, langing.
Oh, I think that was the Dark Tower actually.
Whatever it was.
Yeah, they were langing
instead of laughing.
Yeah, fuck me, it happens. I don't think there's anything that dumb in my book, but there probably are some little ones. Anyway, but I can fix them. That's the great part. Report them, I'll fix them. Boom, there you go, done. Easy. So, yeah. Oh shit. What gave you Taylor Wright? $5. Thank you very much. What gave you the idea for Yeshua? I relate to him since I was a ballet dancer a while back. Oh boy, God, you're gonna laugh, but Yeshua I came up with to ELO, the Electric Light Orchestra, but only sort of. It was a mix of the Electric Light Orchestra and I Am the Walrus by the Beatles, because the Electric Light Orchestra based their whole style on that one song. So technically, Yeshua sort of came from like John Lennon, right? That sort of vibe, the artist, the colourful, and his teeth, yellow, blue, red, silver. They're the colours of the Electric Light Orchestra album, or the thing, which is a little reference. But also, I managed to work them in. I took some colours out in order to work them into the book better, because in the book he uses his teeth as like, you'll see, but they have utility. There's a bit of a mystery. Will Bob be returning? Oh yeah, he's like the main guy. You see, his ashes were like scrunched together, and like Mr. Electric from Shark Boy and Lava Girl, that's him now. He's in like his power suit. No, of course not. Fucking hell. That's an example of me doing Satellite City, just sort of raw, playing around with ideas. It was fun. I mean, it was fucking hilarious, but yeah, good times. So what was I talking about? I was talking about something. Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, I might as well plug this. I do have a Patreon now, which is weird because I remember years ago saying that I didn't want to make one, and I stand by the reason I didn't want to make one at the time, which I can explain. The reason I didn't want to make a Patreon back then is because I wanted to produce whatever I was doing myself. I didn't want any help. I wanted to do XYZ. And then when I finished the book, I sort of felt like, well, I've done it now, haven't I? And I ended up with all these background files, all of these behind the scenes things.
Oh, my mom's in the chat. Hello.
Oh, there you go. Hello. Hi.
I'm gonna send a little smiley face.
Beautiful. It's Colleen Jones. I was saying something. Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, it's written there. Fool.
No.
But yeah, I had all these background files and all this knowledge, so I thought about maybe doing some tutorials at some point, showing off some behind the scenes stuff. So I'll post a link for that in the chat if I can. I think that will work. Yes, okay. So if I do edit, and then at the very bottom below the Discord link, if you, oh Jesus Christ, that's a big link.
What's the link?
The things for the Patreon.
Oh. Get it from like your community tab?
Yeah, I'm gonna. No, I did. Hang on a minute.
Do it again.
Wait, there's a way of doing it. But if you want to look at some like animation tutorials, I've got one coming up. If you want behind the scenes, like what some of the illustrations look like before and after, some of my early like animation tests with some of the characters. How do I do this again?
Like the spider one.
How did I do this? I
Wait, there's a thing to share. Like hold on, I'm scrolling up.
I did something. You were able to like do it. Unless it's just I copied that.
Oh shit, that is a very long link. I clicked the
Carmen, check your Skype. Does that work?
hold on. Where are you sending it to?
Your
Mimi Big Boy.
Yeah. Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to post it in the chat. A shorter link. There you go. That should work now. But yeah, if you want some behind the scenes, it's mostly for the book. So if you want to see, like, I've got, like, I'm working on the interview with Lucy Lacemaker, which is me talking to Lucy, asking her questions about the book. How many of the hardbacks are there? Infinite. It is print on demand. So if you order one, you will get one. So yes, there are as many as there are people, and more. Because it's infinite. But yeah, if you want to look at some, like, yeah, so I'm doing the interview with Lucy Lacemaker, and I'm going to show, like, you know, how to make a character look like they're in a 3D scene, and or like a real scene and shit like that. So yes. What inspired you to write Amygdala? Well, Amygdala is the book that I always wanted to read that just didn't exist. Like, whenever you look at crazy characters, they always go one of two ways. Either the imaginative characters are monsters to be killed and, like, they're enemies, or they're wacky, zany cartoons that are just dumb fucks.
Hey Sam.
Yes.
Casper apparently got their order.
Oh shit.
So you might actually get your hard copy or whatever tomorrow then.
Where?
They posted it in Kibble discussion. Casper, if you're listening to the stream, post a picture.
Post a picture of the book. Fuck. How the hell someone got the fucking phone? Americans, God. You fucking get your independence. And you do this. Where is it? Where?
They haven't posted the picture yet.
Where? God!
Didn't have.
Fucking God damn!
Fucking spill what happened as Haven.
We burnt Washington to the ground in 1814. And is this our... John Charles, what was your inspiration behind the character Celia? Also, I've been following your work since the Nostalgia Critics War Review. Celia was one of my first characters. Like, I think I was being, like, a loud kid, and then my parents put me in my room and locked the door. I don't think they locked the door, but I wasn't able to reach the handle. And I sort of dozed off in the room looking out at the sky because there were no curtains. And I remember having, like, this weird hallucination / dream that there was a woman in the stars. It sounds really fucking lame when I say it that way. But that was when Celia came about, and then I suppose I just developed her over the years of my childhood, and so yeah, that's why she has that sort of celestial design. Casper is typing. Casper, God damn it, Casper! Do you want me to kill you again? I know you're already a ghost.
Didn't Casper die of pneumonia?
Fucking Jesus.
No, like in the I think in the cartoon.
Oh boy, there it is. God, yes. Fuck, Casper, I'm gonna pretend that I'm you and, like, a post, and then just be like, ignore my nails. Ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, Casper, I'm doxing your fingers.
Oh,
there it is.
Gonna be fucking cool.
There it is. Amygdala. Can you show, like, how fat it is? How fat is it?
I want to see the brick.
What's the brick? Show brick.
Brick down.
Boy, there it is. It's a fucking brick, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. It's a brick. Here it is. Yes.
Big.
It's a big brick. Can Casper hear me on the stream?
I don't fucking know.
Ask Casper if I can post a picture of it, just, like, because...
Casper Sam wants to know.
Can I buy the rights to these images? You know, like that little monkey that took a picture of itself, and then the artist... Oh, hi, Casper. Can I use these? Because my fucking copy hasn't arrived. Casper, you need to...
We might get ours tomorrow, Sam.
I don't know if we will, because Casper's American. Okay.
Yeah, but Ingram Spark, like they said, the thing is like priority or whatever.
Oh God, I hope so. Look at it. It's a big fucking brick. Look at it. It's the closest. At least I know they didn't fuck it up. Okay, Casper. Casper, wait. Casper needs to do the checks that I was gonna do. We're gonna do this live. We're doing it live. Casper, can you open the book to part 1 where it says like, where it has Lockett's quote and it says part 1? Just like open the page. It should be near the beginning. It's like, fuck.
That's so fucking cool.
I know, it looks so nice. It's a fucking block. It's a weapon. It's a class 3 weapon.
Casper, how dare you get it before us though? But I'm excited.
Yeah, well, could you just show us the page where it says lock? Because I need this is like one of the things.
Our food. This is our food.
There's like there's a page and it has like, it should have the picture of an eye and then Lockett's Law next to it. Or it's like, it's part 1. Just waiting. Fuck. I love how this happened live on stream. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen who are watching this live. Yes, I want to see it. But yeah, I must see how it looks on paper. Please. God. Yes, there it is! Fuck! Guys, I'm gonna, like, right, I was showing the thing earlier, but it doesn't do it justice. Look at this. Look at it. That is it.
It's the fucking Bible.
Could you go to one, could you show us an illustration, please? Sorry, Casper, we're sorry. But look at it.
We're excited, okay?
Look at how it respects your attention. Look at the the blank pages, they're not blank. They've got things on them. You get to see things. It's there. Could we see an illustration, please, Casper?
I'm like frothing at the mouth. It's like.
Yeah, I want to see like an illustration and then like. Okay, good. Okay, now Casper. Oh wait, that's good. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so oh God, that looks so nice. God.
I will scream.
It looks beautiful. It looks so nice. Okay.
Yeah, I'm so happy with how that looks.
Well, the paper thickness looks just right because you cannot see the illustration showing through the other side. But yes.
Casper, I'm so damn jealous.
Me too. God. I can't believe this. Okay, damn. Well, that's great then. Could you... Okay, one more, Casper. Just one more. Please, just one more. So, okay, is... You know the first illustration of Lucy? It should be after part 1, the little things. Because I think I'll use that for, like, the post. Thank you, Casper. Okay. Let me... God.
Also, if people are waiting to be verified, I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the chat with the book. Will be verified shortly.
I know, yeah. Imagine getting the physical copy before the author. Fuck.
So angry.
Unbelievable. It's my fault for being British. Can't even see the stream anymore. Okay, there it is. There she is. Okay, now Casper, this really is the last thing, I promise. But could you... I promise. Could you turn the page and show us what the page looks like on the other side of that illustration. This is just to make sure that the illustrations do not... Ooh, fuck. Oh, no, fucking that's my mum.
Lucy.
There should be... I just turn the page... And then we're bullying Casper for everything here. Everyone in the Discord's just like, Casper!
Also, it doesn't look like... No, it doesn't have a dust cover. It's like...
No, I didn't want a dust cover.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Is that the exact opposite page to Lucy's illustration? Is that... Yes, beautiful. There you go. The pages are fine. The illustrations, beautiful. They don't show through. Just thick enough. Just thick enough, baby! Fuck. God. Thank you, Casper. You may now indulge. I'm going to put some of these up. Sorry, Casper. I'm...
How dare you get the book before us?
I know.
So angry.
Fucking believable.
The worst day ever.
But yes.
It was the best day ever.
Okay.
It was the worst day ever.
Here is a page of Lucy, ladies and gentlemen, and then here's the other page of Lucy. So as you will see, Lucy's there. Turn the page, that's the part directly. That's the part I was reading. So as you can see, the illustrations are all in there. They're sized correctly. They look fucking beautiful. The colour looks beautiful. I'm getting sort of wedged in. But yes, fucking the paper looks good too. Fuck. Oh, here we go. Radioactive Spider-Man. Thank you. Congratulations on the book. I've been curious. Yeah, there we go. You saw it here live, folks. We, someone else got the book before me, but I was able to show the book live on stream. Okay. Casper, I know you've already answered this, but can I put these on Twitter and my community? I will just lie. I can just pretend that they're my nails, but I won't. I'll credit you for your thank you, Casper. Thank you, Casper. You know, I used to have black nails. I actually did.
Did you?
Yes.
Why?
Yes, I did. I don't know. It was Christmas. My mum was painting. It was only once, and she was like,
How old were you?
Oh,
wait, I think your mom... No, wait, no. You told me this story.
Yeah. I really need a piss, though.
Oh.
So I'm probably... Sorry. I'm probably going to go for a piss and then end the stream here because I want to share these. But boy, ladies and gentlemen, you saw it here first. Buy Amygdala. It will arrive. You see this? Yeah. It's all squeezed into that beautiful little book and I can't wait to get mine. Can't wait to be a proud father. Anyway, thank you all for joining. Thank you very much. It is over 1,000 pages long. Good night. Bless you all. Links in the description. I may actually leave this video up public on my channel. We'll see. Thank you. Amygdala, the things are available. Actually, no, I won't. I'll do the interview with Lucy later. I can have all the links there instead. Much more professional.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining. Been real.